jungle.
You're listening to Drunk with Questions Sports. All topics on and off the field.
We're providing fan-driven conversation about anything sports. Join us on our journey into insanity as our favorite teams slowly but surely break our souls.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Drunk with Questions Sports. And guess what? I am pissed.
Why are you pissed, Gooch? Tell everybody.
Oh,
What happened?
it's not like Michigan State lost a game and then got completely kicked out of the top 25, even though it was a team that was getting votes beforehand. Yet teams like BYU can lose to number 25 Oregon and still maintain at, what the hell are they at, 18? 19.
Yeah.
So BYU, number 12, loses to 25. They drop 8 points. MSU, number 11, loses to a team that was getting votes, so top 30, drops out. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. So we have two different polls, right? So we have the top 25 college votes, and then we have the coaches poll. So the coaches poll still has Michigan State recognized at the 21 spot, which makes sense after losing to an unranked team. But the AP top 25, which is what most people go by when it comes to rankings for college football, they've just executed them from playoff contention, basically.
Yep.
And took them off the map. So while you still have teams like NC State, really,
Or Wake Forest.
yeah, the only real team on this thing that they beat is Texas Tech, and Texas Tech is unranked and was obliterated off the map before. They beat Charleston Southern and East Carolina, and they're somehow number 12.
The Pirates are.
The Pirates, yeah. I wonder, should they do like a challenge feature where they feel like if they're unfairly ranked, they can challenge a team above them? That would be kind of cool.
Like postseason?
Yeah.
Be like, we could take Alabama.
You know how many challenges Alabama would get? No,
That'd
like just imagine, just be like, all right, we challenge you guys, meet us on a midweek time to play for the rank. So basically, the penalty is you're gonna have to play now 2 games in a week because you still got to play your Saturday games, but you have a chance to challenge somebody in a midweek period.
The problem is there's no benefit for the team being challenged.
That's true. They would have to be a personal beef,
or a penalty for not accepting a challenge that, like, the AP poll would have to come together and accept the challenge and be like, you either have to take the challenge or lose X amount of spots.
Oh. People would be trolling Alabama, just challenging.
Oh my god!
Just be like, all right, keep dropping points.
I would die. That would be hilarious.
We're not being serious, but we just thought it would be funny because, like, here's the thing, guys. Michigan State has always been the redheaded stepchild of the AP top 25. Anytime they do anything terrible, they just get dropped like a ton of bricks. Anytime they do something well, they go up like a smidge.
2 spots.
Yeah. Like,
congrats, you just beat number 5. We're gonna send you to 12, and you were 15.
Yeah. And like, so Washington, like I said, I if you guys have listened to the previous podcast, I warned you about Washington beforehand, Mike. I said if Michigan State gets past Washington, it's a safe bet that they will go through and at least challenge. Because the thing about Washington is they have really good speed at their special positions. So wide receivers are fast, running back is great. They just don't have that chemistry yet. They haven't meshed. So you guys might have provided them the meshing that they needed. And
maybe. I mean, the whole stadium was hungry. I mean, you could tell how crazy they were going. And I said it's a lot of travel for a younger team, right? That's a long ways to go for your first away game. And then on top of that, the first half, Michigan State they were plagued with issues. Let's just say that, they had a safety that, it was a safety, but if he hadn't slipped, It's just dumb shit like that. And then they gave him the ball back after the safety, obviously, so they scored again.
Yeah.
And then Peyton Thorne was getting pissed, and you could see the frustration.
Oh my God, his overthrows were ridiculous. So here's what I noticed about Peyton Thorne. Once he gets into a rhythm, he's actually very accurate. But the issues come when he gets touched.
Yep.
If a defender even breathes on him in the backfield, he gets that pressure inside of him and he just overthrows it. Like when you guys did that fourth, I think it was in the fourth quarter, you guys had a stand. You did a fourth down stand at the 1 yard line.
We had two of them that whole game.
You had two of them. So this
Two
one,
goal line stands.
yeah. So this goal line stand was when you guys were like coming back and scoring points, and it's like, oh shit, this is not over. And then what does he do with that turnover on downs? He goes ahead and throws a pick because he feels some breathe down his neck.
He totally limped it.
Yep. And he threw it to the outside of the receiver. Receiver was doing an in route. There's no way he could have turned around in time to catch it. The defender on the outside of him has basically just sitting there waiting for this ball to come to him. So it was just terrible throw after terrible throw. And each time, the issue with these terrible throws is you can throw 15 great passes, but then if you end that with a terrible throw, it doesn't matter. You're still walking away with a field goal at most. So it's just, and the run game was absolutely getting smothered.
So Reed was out for his back laceration.
Laceration.
Yeah, apparently during the Akron game, somehow he got pushed into a bench or something, and he actually gashed his back.
Ooh.
So that was our secondary running back.
Yeah,
which
overall,
is part of it.
I mean, your secondary guy still got to do something. Like I think you had your secondary. I think your secondary guy was Berger.
Mm.
He had 13 carries for 27 yards.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm not saying it worked. It wasn't.
No.
I mean, and Washington was all over it too. That was part of it.
Yeah, you guys didn't score until 1 minute 30 left in the second quarter.
Yep.
It was all Washington, all first half of it. And I mean, time of possession was pretty equal. You guys had it for 30 minutes, 13 seconds. Washington had it for 29 minutes, 47 seconds. Like, you guys had one turnover, but it was at a crucial time where you couldn't afford to have turnovers. But then you look at the total yards, you guys walked away with 365 total yards. Washington had 503.
Yeah.
So that's a whole football field of yardage that they got over you guys. So
yep.
It's just you can't start this slow. This is like one of those teams. Every single time I talk about it, these teams that are unranked does not mean that they're bad.
Yep.
Now there are certain teams that don't even play in a Division I conference that we shouldn't be talking about. But if you're in a Division I team like Washington Huskies is not some push around team. Like they're 3-0. They're undefeated. And they were ready to play at home, and Michigan State wasn't. And this is not like you can't just say, oh, this is an away game, they're not used to it, because it's the coach's job, right? The coach is supposed to get these players ready because they knows this is going to be a 6-hour time difference.
I mean, and he did. So he told them to go to bed an hour early, drink a lot of water. I mean, so I think the problem was a decent amount of the team showed up, but some of the crucial players were tired or frustrated. And Michigan State's defense, they were doing really good. I mean, 2 goal line stands, everything, but they were on the field so much. They were tired. That's part of it. They were exhausted. They were on the field so freaking much.
They weren't on the field any longer than the other team's defense was. Time of possession split down the middle.
I'm talking about for the first half, though. So during the first half, which is where they got their lead on us, the Michigan State's defense was exhausted. They came out strong for the second. They got whatever they needed, but yeah, that first half, I mean, that was the death sentence, and I knew it was after the safety, and then they scored.
Yeah, I mean, me and you were texting back and forth. We're just like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, it was done.
Oh, no.
Now Michigan State, and that's what pisses me off, I think, is Michigan State showed that they could pull it together. They didn't just let Washington run away, right?
Yeah.
And yet we still get completely just booted. So it's just
I mean,
frustrating.
I think it was the manner in which, like, they they kind of blitzkrieged you guys in the beginning. I mean, I'm not saying that you guys should be out of the top 25. You should have been in the top 25, maybe in the 20 to 25 area.
Mhm.
But yeah, these guys blitzkrieged you. It was a convincing win, is what I have to say for Washington. Because when they needed a stop, they got a stop from you. When you guys were driving, they took the ball away from you. You know, they were playing a lot of deep safeties, trying to keep the long passes away. I mean, even then, your boy, man, Jalen Polk is a problem. That dude had 3 touchdowns and 153 yards in that game. He was everywhere. Without that dude, it would have been a blowout because he showed up, and you can tell like that last play where it was a 4th down and he threw it to him and he was trying to make a catch, but the defender was right there, knocked the ball out. Dude, he was in pain. I felt bad for that man because he left everything on the table in that game. So that's one person I'm very afraid of when Michigan meets you guys. Because that dude can burn and he is large. Yeah, Jalen Polk. So keep an eye out for this guy, dude. Like, holy shit. I'm sorry, not Polk. Sorry. Polk is the other guy. Polk is Washington's dude. Coleman. He had, what was it, 100 and... I'm so sorry. Polk is also very impressive. He's going to be an NFL candidate. But Coleman, he had 9 receptions for 116 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Jesus.
Yeah. So he was not playing around. He had 15 yards per reception. That's his thing.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You guys have Minnesota. So if you beat the absolute shit off of Minnesota, there is a possibility you guys will be back. Yeah. So Minnesota, if Minnesota rows the boat on you, then I think the season's pretty much over.
I don't think Minnesota's going to row the boat on us.
Well, who has Minnesota played so far? Minnesota Golden Gophers. Yeah, nobody. They played New Mexico State, Western Illinois, and Colorado. You guys are the first real teams that they're playing. Oh, and looks like they're out their number 1 wide receiver too. So never mind. Minnesota's not rowing the boat.
No.
Minnesota's missing an oar. They're not going to be able to row the boat.
Okay. An oar on the right side.
Yeah.
They're just going to be going left.
Just do left circles, everybody. Yay. Okay, so you guys have Minnesota. You guys should beat the brakes off of those guys, and then you should be back in the top 25, probably within the 18 to 25 range, because they're not ranked. So we'll see. Washington has Stanford next, which they'll most likely win. Because Stanford's not the same team. They're 1-1 in the conference. I don't see that happening. They have a 17% win percentage chance, so nobody really has confidence in that.
So let's talk about other teams that got hurt. So Miami loses to TAMU 17-9.
Yeah, it's 17-9. I really had hopes for Miami. I really did. I thought Miami was going to be a contender, but when you have TAMU come and... Did TAMU even get ranked after that? No, they're off too. TAMU's off, so Miami just dropped to 12.
25, yeah.
Why didn't Miami drop off?
Same reason, probably, man.
Was it because TAMU was ranked at some point? Is that what it is?
Well, TAMU was 23 at one point. I don't know. But yeah,
so,
whatever.
Yeah, Miami is not going to be contending. Texas won. Go Longhorns. My secret team. Ole Miss shut out the team that they were playing. Georgia Tech. They shut them out 42-0. So Ole Miss is going to be a good one. Who else lost?
BYU lost to Oregon.
Fucking Mormons.
41-20.
You were supposed to hold it down. Well, Oregon is off. Those two guys match up. I'm always going to put my money on Oregon.
Here's the deal, though. Oregon goes 25-15 from 25-15 after the win.
Yeah.
BYU from 12-19. Didn't even go into the bottom 20.
Yeah.
What?
So the only team Oregon has lost to so far is Georgia, and Georgia's number 3. So I mean, we can't blame them for that loss.
No.
After that, they beat East Washington 70-14, and then they beat BYU, ranked number 12, 41-20. So pretty decisive victories.
Mm-hmm.
So they have Washington State next, Stanford, Arizona, UCLA. They have a pretty good schedule to end the rest of the season on a very high note. So I don't see a problem for Oregon. BYU, it's kind of cool that they were, they beat Baylor, South Florida, but I don't think they have what it takes to even like get to the end season and contend for any kind of. They'll get to a bowl. They get to one of those like, what is it, past New Year bowls, the ones that nobody watches. Yeah, they'll get to that.
Wake Forest has to take on Clemson after just barely beating Liberty, 37-36.
Why is Wake Forest on the top 25, guys? Wake Forest. Okay, so they went up against Liberty University.
Aren't they like the Owls or something?
Hawks? I mean, from their logo. I mean, that's not an owl, but then again, this is Liberty Flames. But then why do they have a bird as a logo? What is happening here? So yeah, they got absolutely they dropped the ball. Sure, they're 3-0, but they beat Liberty by 1 point, guys, 37-36. So this is a definite pretender.
Dude, I mean, like, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Clemson. Yeah, I'm just going to say that.
That's a pretender if I've ever seen one. And I'd rather have NC State in the rankings than them. And they've beat Texas Tech. So what are you going to do? Baylor's still in it. Ole Miss definitely deserves to be in it. Arkansas won. Arkansas is surprising me.
Well, Arkansas has to take on TAMU, though, this week.
Yeah. They're playing TAMU and then Alabama after that. Yeah.
Actually, it would be interesting if they beat TAMU, which they should in theory, because TAMU's 23.
Yeah.
And then they're going to Alabama undefeated. I mean, give them their shot, baby. Razorbacks.
Have they elevated from the kids' table at Thanksgiving, though? That's my question. 3-0.
Dude, Alabama is just not okay. I mean, it's just not okay. It is a dynasty. It's not. Alabama isn't even an NCAA football team, bro. It is just.
It's like a secondary NFL team. It's basically what it is.
That's what they should do. They should play on the American Football League in the summer.
I'll tell you, dude. The only team that gave them trouble, Alabama, this year has been Texas, and that's the only team. I mean that's technically the only team they've played because they have Utah State and UL Monroe. They play Vanderbilt next as Alabama, and then Arkansas. So they should both be undefeated technically once they go into that game.
I'll watch that game. It'll be interesting.
Should be interesting. NC State, dude. What would happen in the world if NC State won that? There would be riots. Oh my god. So can we also talk about the NC State logo?
What, the wolf?
That's supposed to be a wolf.
Yeah, I got one of their shirts here.
NC State Wolf Pack.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, sure. All right.
Wow.
Ohio State, once again, Big Ten news. Ohio State won, as they usually do. It's a big surprise against Toledo.
They got to play Wisconsin this week.
They got to play Wisconsin next, and then Rutgers, and then they're coming for you guys. So, Michigan won handily, and a shutout for Michigan against UConn. Woo. Once again, like I said, I don't really know what that means. It's hard to gauge with these first 3 games for Michigan, but they got Maryland next. If they handle Maryland, they get to go to Iowa. If they handle Iowa, then Indiana. Penn State might be the only one in the next 4 that actually gives us any kind of.
Yeah, they're 14 right now. Mm-hmm. Penn State, they popped up quite a bit, 22-14.
Penn State has played some teams. I mean, like they played Purdue, they beat them. They played Ohio, and then they beat the brakes off of Auburn.
Are you going to Penn State?
Let me see.
Or are they coming to you guys? Because that could make the difference actually in that game.
That couldn't it? So
Because
this
Penn State's like your
is
first real team that you guys will be playing.
no Penn State's coming here.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
Penn
gonna be
State's coming
tough.
here.
It's gonna be tough for them.
Yeah, Penn State's coming here to the big house. We have Maryland come into the big house next week. So, and then we're at Iowa, at Indiana, and then we have Penn State at home, and then you guys at home. So
Yeah, I'd like Iowa, Indiana, whatever, dude.
we have a chance. If we have a chance this year to be just consistently good. It just depends on if we're gonna continue the way it is. McCarthy, I think, is our go-to. I think he's the guy. He's proven it in the last 2 weeks that he can be that person for us to provide consistency and the ability to both be respected as a passer and a runner, because he's got some jets on him. I just don't like that he takes some hits that he doesn't need to take when he's running, so he just needs to get a little bit better about that. This is not high school football anymore.
Right.
There are actual headhunters out there now, so so we'll play Maryland. Maryland is undefeated as well, 3-0. Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, so Florida number 20 versus Tennessee 11 this week as well.
Florida number 20 versus Tennessee number 11.
Yeah.
Tennessee, though.
The Volunteers.
Volunteers.
Let me volunteer you to suck this.
I think I'd give this to Florida. I think we're gonna have an upset by Florida because Tennessee has played Ball State, Pitt, and Akron.
Oh yeah, you're probably right, man.
Yeah, I don't see them beating that.
There's definitely some top 15 pretenders. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you.
There's a lot. There's like Utah. They beat Utah. They lost to Kentucky by 10, but then they beat in South Florida. South Florida, that game. That game gives me cause to pause and think about this because they won that game 31-28. So
but Utah and Kentucky are both ranked right now, bro.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning of the season. Okay, so let's go in and let's look at the rankings and who do I think that it shouldn't be in here.
Like if you gotta go into a season and you're immediately fighting ranked teams,
that's kind of rough.
I give you props, man. Like.
And why is Florida beat Utah and they won against Southern Utah and San Diego State? Why are they number 13?
That's a pretender.
Yeah, so I got Utah as a pretender, Tennessee as a pretender, NC State I kind of want them in there just to be the troll, Kentucky as a pretender.
I think USC is a pretender.
You think so? You think they're a paper tiger?
I think they are. I think Kentucky deserves to be there.
They played Rice, Stanford, and Fresno. I mean, they've been convincing wins.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, Kentucky. What do they got going on next?
Oh, I think we got some kind of record for having the most games with at least 50 points as Michigan.
Ooh.
Because we scored 51 against Colorado, 56 against Hawaii, and 59 versus UConn.
Yeah, I think Kentucky belongs to be there.
You think so?
Yeah, man, they beat Florida 26-16. They shut out Youngstown last week. And then they got to do Northern Illinois this week, but then they go up against Mississippi, number 16. So
you think Clemson's a paper tiger?
No. Well, we'll see. They're playing Wake Forest.
Yeah, they got Georgia Tech, Furman, and Louisiana.
So let's see what Wake Forest can do, man, or what they can't do against Clemson.
Yeah,
that'll be their test right there, man.
Because we always make fun of why Wake Forest. If Wake Forest shows up for this game or at least makes it competitive, I will believe that they deserve to be here. Will I think they will do that? No. So they won all 3 of their games and still dropped down 2 points. That's funny. They're 3-0 at 21.
Yeah, man.
That's brutal.
I'm gonna go back to USC. They do not deserve to be where they're at.
No.
They got 2 more weeks of easy, bro. And then they got Utah, and Utah's gonna stomp them. predicting it right now.
Yeah, Oklahoma State I think is a pretender too.
Really?
They barely beat Central Michigan. Central Michigan scored 44 on them.
Oof.
Yeah. Arizona State.
Did you hear about Arizona State's coach?
No, what happened?
He just got walked off the field.
He got walked off the field?
By the dean and somebody else.
No. Like during a game?
After the game, yeah.
Oh, no.
After, let's see, they just lost. What did they just lose to? They just lost to Eastern. He got walked off the field.
No, they lost to Eastern?
Yes!
Oh, no.
By like 9, dude.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that poor man. It's time for you to go, dude. Coaching's not for you. Oh, no.
But yeah, Oklahoma State, let them prove it then. They got to go against Baylor on the 1st.
Baylor.
Yep.
Okay.
October 1st, they're going against Baylor. So not this weekend, but next.
Yes. I mean, I like where the top 4 is at.
Yeah.
Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. Clemson, I don't know. We'll see. Because Oklahoma, SEC, USC, none of the top 4 teams have shown anything but consistency so far. So we'll just have to wait and see what the rest of the season turns out for that. So anything from like 10 to 15, or even up to some of the 20, there's a lot of pretenders, I think, in there that are kind of just in there just because they need fillers. So we will see what happens from there. Score schedules. Shall we move to NFL?
Yeah. All right. Vikings lose to the Eagles 24-7.
I think it proves that Eagles are actually a great team this year. We were having a conversation before, and I believe that we picked 5 teams that we thought were the number, like one, no particular order, just the 5 best teams. So we had the Eagles.
Yep.
We had Miami.
Yep.
We had the Bills. We had the Chiefs, and we had the Bucks.
Yep.
And those are the 5 that we think are going to be the top 5 contenders to get to the end all the way through. I never thought I would say Miami in that sentence, but hey, Tua's making a difference there. They got Tua. They have Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill went absolutely off in their last game. Unfortunately, I had him on my bench in my fantasy team, so I cried. 35 points wasted. It was brutal,
buddy.
It was brutal. But yeah, that was those are, I think, are going to be our 5, and I think the win against so we played them, and we played them pretty tough in the first game, right? Where we kind of were going back and forth. So that either means that we can compete with a top level team and we just happen to lose, or they were just warming up, because they've been bananas since then.
So the Lions beat the Commanders last week. We're going against the Vikings this week, and we were talking, if the Lions could beat the Vikings, that gives us a really good trajectory for the next few games, I think.
If we beat the Vikings, I think it's a huge morale boost. Everything this coach has instilled and talked about, I think, would come into play if you get. Because here's the thing about the Lions: we've just never been consistent. We'll have spurts of greatness, but we've just never been like consistently this. Like, no matter what happens on Sunday, we can always do this. No matter what happens, it's either like a bunch of touchdowns and a win, or it's no touchdowns, 15 fouls for 150 yards, and then like 3 points. That's basically been the go-to. So I think we need consistently. So far, I've seen a consistent offense show up, and I've seen a defense also that showed up, because the defense played really tough against the Eagles. But the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who I think is an MVP candidate this year, if he plays in this trajectory, he was just running the ball on us. And there's nothing you can do. If you lock up everybody, you got your number 1 guy covered by 2 people, you can't afford a QB spy. And anytime there's not a QB spy and a pocket opens up, and even in that game, something we noticed is they were like getting so close to grabbing him, so close to touching him and just like getting him to the ground, but And we had a couple sacks, but it's hard to when the person runs. And the Lions defense like showed up again in our game against the Commanders. I think Aiden had his first or second sack.
Damn.
So Aiden Hutchinson's immediately making a difference coming into the game. I was really thinking that I was really hoping that he wasn't going to be a bust coming from Michigan. And so far he's been the guy. He's been the edge guy that's coming in creating pressure. So
Colts got shut out by the Jags 24-0.
oh, the Colts are
Sad.
garbage.
Yeah.
The Colts are garbage. And it's one of those things that we look at them and we say, okay, why are you the way you are? And I don't really have an answer for that. They shouldn't be.
It's the Colts, man. They've always been just.
Have they always been like this since Manning left?
They were like that when, like, halfway through Manning.
Really?
Yeah, man, the Colts. Let's look at the last time the Colts even showed up in a playoff.
I mean, with Manning, they were decent, I thought. But, I mean, Andrew Luck was supposed to be their savior. That didn't go well for them. And then who do they have now? Jacoby Brissett?
Hold on, I got it right here.
Matt Ryan. Oh, God.
So 2020, they were in the wild card,
Okay.
and they lost to the Bills.
It makes sense. That was
2018, they got to division, and they lost to the Chiefs.
They just seemed to just get just close enough, huh?
Last Super Bowl was 2009, so right in the middle end of that Manning era, man.
Ugh.
And they beat the Saints.
Dude, this bum Matt Ryan had 16 of 30, 195 yards, and 3 interceptions. You can't win games with people like his prime time is over. He was never going to be the person to lead you anywhere. I think since Brady absolutely destroyed his human dignity during the Super Bowl, I don't think he's been the same. So
No.
I don't think that was the move for you, Colts. But enjoy your 3 interceptions and 54 yards of carrying from Gerard Taylor. If you get shut out by the Jaguars, man, not even the good Jaguars. It's not even the Blake Bortles like awesome defense Jaguars. It's not, but it's just you get shut out just to see 0 all 4 quarters. All 15-minute quarters, you couldn't score a single point. You couldn't kick a field goal. Bro.
In the NFL. That's really scary.
That's so bad. Like, time of possession was all in the Jags' favor, 38 minutes to 21 minutes. They had 9 first downs the entire game to 21 for Jacksonville. Think 9 first downs the whole game.
It's bad. It's bad. That's
Bro,
really
how
bad.
are you an NFL team? Oh my God. I mean, like, I know the score looks bad, but if you look at the stats, it's even worse. It doesn't get any better. My God. The Chiefs won barely against the Chargers. We knew that was coming. Chiefs always have a dominance over the Chargers. The Jets, dude. Oh, we got to talk about Jets, and we got to talk about the greatness of Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco coming in after injury and brings them back for a stunning 31-30 comeback. This man had 26 of 44, not a great completion percentage, but he had 307 yards and 4 touchdowns. He went ape shit on Jacoby Brissett. Like, Jacoby Brissett had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. This guy was just flinging the ball, Brett Favre style. Like, he literally had like a 50% completion percentage, but he didn't care. He didn't care.
Can't catch the ball if it's not in the air.
Yeah, he was just trying to he did what he needed to do. And, he came back so he had a 66-yard pass from Joe Flacco for Corey Davis. And then a minute later, Garrett Wilson had a 15-yard pass from. So within 2 minutes, he scored 2 touchdowns. They come back and tie the game and then beat them, dude. That's got to be demoralizing as the Browns. I'm sorry. That's you let Joe Flacco, Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe come in and take care of business. So that was actually really fun for me to watch.
Let's see. Packers versus the Bucks this week.
Packers versus Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers will take it.
Probably.
Probably. Packer Joe. Oh God, I don't even want to say his name. Aaron Rodgers came in kind of heated after what the Vikings did to him, and he took care of the Bears handily. Justin Fields couldn't do anything because the defense kept getting smothered. But I think Green Bay is going to go there, and I think they're going to lose. I don't see them winning. Yeah, because everybody's pissed over at the Bucks right now.
Brady and Rodgers. Yeah, Brady and Rodgers can have their little old man handshake and talk at the end of the game.
Old man handshake and talk.
You want to get coffee after this?
Yeah, how's the weather, bud?
You still like playing in the cold, Rodgers?
Yeah, that's true, dude.
Look where I'm at, bitch.
Don't your bones hurt? Oh
my God. Joints have never been more lubricated now that I'm down here in the heat.
in the heat. In the sun.
Look at me throw this ball.
It hasn't seemed to have helped him because I mean Brady's having a terrible start to the season. Nobody can deny that. The Bucks defense balled out and did everything possible to get the ball back to their guys, and they still only managed to score 20 points. And 7 of those points are from the Bucks defense. So they only scored 2 touchdowns the entire game. So it was all bad for them. And the Saints, you have freaking Jameis Winston and his bum ass. Just like, why this dude is still in the NFL, I'll never know. His dude had 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. He's an absolute bum. He doesn't deserve to be in the NFL. So, but they still have him, and that's their dude. So enjoy that while you can. What else went down? We had Dolphins beat the Ravens. Dolphins, like I said, Tua Vailova. Tua, is it what it is? Tua Tagovailoa. That's his name. He's the new quarterback. Came from Alabama, and him and Tyreek Hill went crazy against the Ravens. And they took care of business.
Oh yeah, they did. So we have our first 0-2 matchup, Raiders versus Titans next week.
Oh, I couldn't say who cares loud enough because they're just 2 of like. Do you want to watch that? I don't want to watch that.
No.
Raiders. Oh my God.
But we also have our first 2-0 matchup, the Bills versus the Dolphins.
That's the game I want to watch.
Yes.
That's the game I want to watch. If the Bills defense shuts down like they've been doing, I think this is a Bills win. And it kind of solidifies them as number 1 or 2 in the NFL at the moment because they've just been consistent and I feel like they've been hungry for this moment.
Oh yeah,
they've been hungry. Dude.
They've been building.
They've always at like that edge there, and they just got to get past it. And this year they look really good. I think there's a great chance that they go into the playoffs with when you get to the playoffs, they're going to be pretty much maybe 1 or 2 losses at most. I just don't see any team beating that defense when they're clicking on all cylinders.
No, I agree 100%. Yeah, I just don't know. Like we were talking about, we're gonna have to wait and see. Probably around week 6 will be our
because everything is a guess right now. Everything is a guess based on inferences that we see. Because we've had 2 games for each team to kind of analyze them.
Right.
And, from the 2 games that see the 5 teams that we expect to be the best in the league, like I said, Miami, Bills, Eagles, Bucks, and then who was the last one? Who am I missing? Chiefs. So those are the 5 that we'd expect to be in. If you guys disagree with us, please let us know. Let us know why you disagree with us and who you think are going to be the top 5. If you think we're full of shit, let us know that as well. This is just our opinion.
I was just looking. The Super Bowl this year is in Cardinal Stadium, Arizona. And then next year it's the new Las Vegas Stadium.
Huh. You know who's not going to be there both years?
Oh, the Lions? Yeah.
The Lions.
Hey, maybe they can do Super Bowl 60. Maybe if the Lions can get their shit together, they can.
Super Bowl 60? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
It's only
see.
4 years away.
4 years of building. You think the Lions have enough patience to give this man enough time? No. He's going to get about 3 years, and then if he doesn't perform or he doesn't get him to a playoff, it's going to be adios. Amigos. Well, guys.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I think we talked about everything that came into that we wanted to talk about this week. It's been kind of a bland week, recapping some of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, there was a couple upsets. I mean, we talked about it last week. It was kind of a boring week for games, but
yeah. I mean, there's a couple things like, the Bucks had a UFC match in the middle of the fourth quarter between between Marcus Lattimore and Mike Evans. I think that has to do with the frustrations of what happened and how they're struggling on offense a bit. Like, it's just the way it's going to be. And then yes, Trey Lance is down for the season.
That was nasty.
Broke his ankle.
You were just telling me about it right before we did this, and that ankle is touching the turf, brother.
Yeah. It's just bent all the way.
It's not pretty.
His leg is here and his ankle is completely...
The worst part was his O-lineman just picked him up without thinking, and he just immediately collapsed.
Yeah, I would too, dude.
Oh, can you imagine?
You're fine, man. Just run the next play. Oh my God, dude, no.
Wrap it tighter.
It just reminds me of like the Matthew Stafford thing where he got hit during the Browns game, remember? And his shoulder was all jacked up.
Oh yeah, and he still did it.
Yeah, he still came back in, dude. That's as soon as that happened, he had my respect forever. And but it's different with the foot, right? You can't. He's a running quarterback, but you know what? Garoppolo came in and got the win for them. Can't complain.
Garoppolo, let's go.
Garoppolo. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed us talking about our stupid opinions when it comes to sports.
Yeah, hopefully we have some more interesting stuff to talk about next week. It looks like we'll have a couple good games. So.
I mean, the longer we progress, the more accurate our analytics is going to be based on what we see. Because 2 games for the NFL and 3 weeks for the NCAA is just not enough time for us to get a grasp.
No.
But based on what we see now, we gave you the opinions of who we think is going to be the top teams and the top contenders and who are pretenders. And we hope that you agree with us. If you don't, please let us know. Our email, as always, is available for you guys to reach out to us or leave a comment on our YouTube channel. So thanks, guys. I'll leave it up for Gooch to take us out.
Hey, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everything. Make sure you tune in to Drunk with Questions, the podcast, whenever you get a chance. Feel free to listen to it on our YouTube if you like to watch faces, or you can go to the Podbean app or website and listen to it there. Otherwise, appreciate all of you. Have a good one. I wish I could come up with something good for this, Raj. I really want to have a catchphrase, but maybe next week I'll think of something.
Go sports.
Hit the turf, boys.
That's it.
Or maybe it should be let's make sure we hit the showers.
Yeah, time to hit the showers, boys.
Time to hit the showers. See you guys.
See ya.